Oh, wait. Microphone working? Microphone's working. I'm still trying to figure that out, everybody. How we doing? My goodness. My brain is still processing things right now. We got some information tonight. We got some stuff to talk about here tonight. Still trying to kind of wrap my head around everything that we've been hearing tonight. This is some saucy news that we've been getting, but I want to backtrack a little bit. I want to go back in time just a little bit, only just to yesterday, really. Remember, Jeff Passan, he went on ESPN, and he said pretty much all of the teams are still involved. We had been seeing some weird reports. The Yankees, the Mets, they were the front runners. I guess someone out there close to Soto said that he preferred the Yankees or the Mets or whatever it may be. But Jeff Passan came on, saved the day yet again, just like he did on Thanksgiving, saying, no, all the teams are still involved here. There's no favorite as of right now. But he did say he expected a decision to come this weekend, possibly before the winter meetings even start. Remember, winter meetings, they get underway. People start flying in on Sunday. I would love to go to the winter meetings, by the way. I got to experience one winter meetings in my lifetime. We'll see if possibly that can happen one day. But Jeff Passan, he gave us that yesterday. Then we had a little something from Mark Feinsand. Soto and Scott Boras aren't signing without taking that final deal back to the Yankees. And that's what kind of I've been speculating about, right? The Yankees, you can never count them out. Hal Steinbrenner, he likes to close the deal. He likes to make that last second phone call and say, whoa, hold on just a second, pal. You're not going anywhere until you get through with me. What do we got to do to get you back in pinstripes here? That's what he did with Aaron Judge. And it worked. It's worked numerous times, I would imagine. Mark Feinsand came out with that yesterday. And then Jon Heyman, right? Mr. Leverage himself, Jon Heyman. I find it hilarious that Jon Heyman, literally in the same Bleacher Report stream yesterday, saying, he's never felt better about the Yankees. And then he literally says in the same exact stream how he had heard a rumor that Steve Cohen would pretty much put any number down to get a deal done. It's like, it's so hilarious how he uses two different types of leverage in one show. Pretty hilarious. He did something similar today. I can't remember the exact wording, but Jon Heyman, pretty much a mouthpiece for Scott Boras at this point. But he did put this out there today. Kind of interesting from Heyman. Usually, I don't know, could this be another leverage play? I'm not sure. You never know with Jon Heyman, right? He's Mr. Leverage. But this was a bit of a head turner, right? He says here, just to clear up something, I think I might have been overplayed thanks to dreaded aggregation. The Yankees have not been told they will be given a last chance to match any high offer. Well, that could definitely be some leverage, right? Can definitely be some leverage. So then we got Alex Spear. This is the sauciness that we were all dealing with on Twitter tonight. Hadn't really been hearing a whole lot of positivity with surrounding the Red Sox in recent days. But we got this report from Alex Spear. Title is free agent Juan Soto likely to pick a team by the end of next week's winter meetings. Jeff Passan thinks it could be before the winter meetings even starts. We'll just wait and see. Either way, he did have this. The Mets and owner Steve Cohen loom large. And also Alex Spear, he's been very reliable, especially with Red Sox news in the past. I saw people, today on X saying, oh, Alex Spear, it was Yankee fans, Mets fans. I was seeing people saying this. Oh, Alex Spear, what does this guy know? It's like, Alex Spear has been very reliable for the Boston Globe over the years. So, yeah, let's back off of that. The Mets and owner Steve Cohen loom large. The Sox are aware of rumors that Cohen told Boras he would go $50 million beyond any team's highest offer. Whether accurate or not, the perception of Cohen's willingness to spend to such heights lords over the bidding and how teams approach it. Here was the juiciness, ladies and gentlemen. For that reason, the Red Sox have expressed interest in an additional meeting in which Boras and Soto would identify a price that would get a deal done. It's unknown if such a meeting has been or will be granted. That's a lot of weight right there. That's a lot of weight. I'll say that again. That's a lot of weight. For that reason, the Red Sox have expressed interest in an additional meeting in which Boras and Soto would identify a price that would get a deal done. Now, I will play a little devil's advocate. We had seen some reports that, teams could have a chance for a final meeting. So maybe this is just part of that. But if John Henry gets involved here, I think that's a very good sign. And that's kind of something I was predicting here. I saw a lot of people complaining, oh, why wasn't John Henry in the initial meeting? He was dealing with other things with the Fenway Sports Group, whatever. Why doesn't he care enough to go talk to Juan Soto? I'm thinking to myself, let John Henry kind of do his thing, right? Let the other guys go in there. Let Craig Breslow go in there. Let's have the team go to Alex Cora, right? I don't think you needed John Henry at that point. Get introduced, present what you got to present, talk about the history of the Red Sox, why you think he would be a good fit, the amazing culture they've had over the years, especially with Dominican players. Let them get the presentation done, right? You didn't need John Henry there. John Henry, that's the guy you want to have walk in at the end. You don't need Henry at that point, right? John Henry, I think, if he went to that first meeting, I think it honestly kind of almost diminishes his presence, if that makes sense, if he shows up there, right? Steve Cohen, Hal Steinbrenner, they've already sat down. But John Henry's thinking, you know what? I'll hang back. I'll let you guys. I respect you guys to go give the presentation for Soto. And then Henry, I think he has almost more presence if he shows up in the end. You know what I mean? So I think it's okay that he didn't go to the first meeting. That's just my opinion, though. Now, when I think of John Henry in this kind of a situation, if he does indeed, I would imagine John Henry, it would be in that final meeting. Supposedly, there was also another report today that he had been making phone calls. He had made phone calls to Scott Boras. Hadn't talked with Juan Soto personally, but he has made phone calls himself. So we'll see. I would imagine if there is one final meeting, I would imagine he's going to be in that. I would think he would. I mean, if he wouldn't, okay, that's a mistake. Now, I think of meetings in the past. Go back to good old Daisuke Matsuzaka, right? Now, for those of you, I know there are going to be some of you that are a bit younger in the chat. 2006, December. If you were not old enough to remember this, to be following what was going on here, if you want to compare one free agent sweepstakes, especially in Red Sox history, to something like this right here is exactly the one you got to look to. The whole Daisuke saga, the sweepstakes in itself, was amazing. It was so good. I was following every second of it. You didn't have Twitter at this time, right? You had Boston.com. You had the Boston Globe. You had the Boston Herald, right? You had blogs and stuff out there. You didn't have social media, really. You had the internet, of course, right? You can go online and go on the computer. You had dial-up, right? At that point, I think dial-up might have started to go away. I feel like they started coming out without dial-up, I think. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, but Daisuke, this was huge at the time. This guy, he was just such a dominant pitcher in Japan, came over with this mysterious gyro ball, this new pitch that, people hadn't heard of before, right? I still remember the YouTube videos, old YouTube or whatever other sites out there. They had video of the gyro ball. I remember people were so almost kind of clickbaity with it, saying, is this the gyro ball, right? Ended up not really being a crazy deal in the end. But people were really locked in to this whole thing. You had the posting bidding where you had to post a fee. You had to post the winning bid for the fee just to be able to talk to him, right? The Red Sox were not really the favorites going into that. The Yankees were the huge favorites going into that. And the Red Sox beat him out by $20 million. That shocked everyone because you're thinking, holy crap, the Red Sox outbid the Yankees by $20 million. So Then, you started getting into the negotiations and nothing was happening. Everything was cold. It seemed dead. A lot of people were reporting at the time this deal could be in danger of happening. He might just go back to Japan for another year, try come back next year, or he could even wait a couple of years and just be a free agent, right? He can just go whatever. There's no posting fee involved. So there was a bit of danger there. There was some drama. And then all of a sudden, the Red Sox, their group, John Henry, right, Larry Lucchino, Tom Warner, Theo Epstein, they all hopped on a plane and they flew to California to talk to Scott Boras. Uninvited. Didn't even get an invite. They said, "Hey man, we're going to show up at your place. Get some I don't know, cheese and crackers ready for us cuz we're going to be talking some numbers here." Then all of a sudden, they're all flying back together. Daisuke's on the plane. People are tracking the plane for crying out loud. And all of a sudden, Daisuke's walking off. Here's a picture of it. Right? And then they get the deal done. John Henry, this is a good example of closing the deal. Right? Now, there was another example I do want to bring up. Remember the Mark Teixeira sweepstakes? They did the same thing, right? They flew to Texas. Thinking they had a really good shot, right? They really wanted Mark Teixeira. John Henry, you even go back to, I forget what year it was. Was it 20? I don't remember what the year was. But I remember he put out a tweet saying, because the Red Sox came back against the Yankees and ended up winning the game. And he said, "Oh, that was the curse of Mark Teixeira," or something like that. So he really wanted Mark Teixeira. In the end, the Yankees ended up beating him out. And the one thing with this, though, the difference when it came to the whole Daisuke thing, and you could even say now, is the Red Sox, they were comfortable going into 2009. Remember, they had a good squad, right? They just came off an ALCS, against the Rays. Just won a World Series a couple years prior. They had good talent on that team, right? Remember, that was the whole thing. You had Mike Lowell, you had Kevin Youkilis, right? David Ortiz was the DH. So, adding Mark Teixeira was really just a luxury at that point, similar to now, but the big difference where Juan Soto, you could say, would be a luxury. I honestly think, I don't know, I see a lot of people out there say Soto is a luxury. In a way, I think you could make the argument that you need a bat like him, right? I think you need something else with Rafael Devers there, because you have good bats, but you don't got, what the Dodgers got. You don't got, or what the Yankees just had this past year with Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. What the Dodgers have with Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. I feel like Devers, you got some talented guys in that lineup, but you don't got a force like Soto that would just provide just incredible protection, right? The difference here, compared to 2009, the Red Sox were comfortable with their team. They don't seem very comfortable with their team now. There's a big difference there. They had a lot of talent on that team back in going into 2009. They got some talent now, but not the same, and they're not really giving off vibes that they're content with this lineup. So it's going to be interesting. Another example, right? Everyone's going to know this from the Moneyball movie, right? But for Red Sox fans, you go back 2002, Billy Beane, right? He was this up-and-coming GM, right? He turned the A's. I know people seem to think that, guys like Tim Hudson and Barry Zito and Mark Mulder and Miguel Tejada and Eric Chavez never existed. I know they got to do the movies to make them seem dramatic, right? But in the end, they did have a small payroll at the time. And, they did bring in those guys like Scott Hatterberg, right? He did do those kind of things. But they were revolutionizing, how baseball was being looked at. And John Henry, he has always been a guy, go back to that time when he first took over the Red Sox. This is kind of how he's always been. He always looks for value. He doesn't like taking, a lot of risks with things. And from time to time, he will. Good businessmen out there, they have to take risks every once in a while. But with the one thing with John Henry that's always been consistent is, he loves those, deeper analytics, right? He likes looking ahead. He likes to have his boxes checked off. He likes to have his ducks in a row before he gets aggressive like that. And he was ready to bring in someone like Billy Beane. They had agreed on a deal. He was offering him the largest contract in sports history for a general manager at the time. He wrote the number on the piece of paper, slid it across the table, said, hey, I want you to be the GM of the Boston Red Sox. This is my number. Would not be surprised at all if that's what it ended up being in this meeting. I'm not saying to get a deal done, but I wouldn't be surprised if John Henry just said, listen, we love you. We want you. What is it going to take to get you to Boston? We think you're the kind of player that's going to completely turn things around here. We think you're the player that we want to have as the face of the franchise. We think we're ready to go forward here as an organization. It's been a tough, few years here, rebuilding the farm, trying to get back into our competitive ways, but we feel like you are the guy. Give us a number. Give us the terms of the deal. What is it going to be? Opt out after the 4th year, 5th year, whatever it may be. What's the dollar amount? Do you want the record AAV? I could absolutely see John Henry, especially with all of these meetings that he's had in the past to try and get the deal done. Yeah, Mark Teixeira didn't work out, but I think, again, the team itself had a lot of talent at that time. And remember, 2009, they made the playoffs that year. Lost to the Angels, right? But, they did have a team that was talented, and they had guys in the farm that were coming up. So again, Mark Teixeira was a luxury. Juan Soto is a luxury too, but I think you can make the argument that he really will help you get to that next level, obviously. But I think you can make the argument that he is a need. I think there is that argument there. I think a lot of people will disagree with me, but I just think you need another impact hitter. Sure, they got some guys coming up the pipe: Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, Kyle Teal, Marcelo Meyer, if he ends up not getting traded this offseason. Yeah, they got some potential. But you know what you're getting with Soto. There's no risk there. And it's so funny to me. I see people on Twitter. It's so crazy to me that, like, I hate using the word cope because I see people use that on Twitter so much. It's like, it gets kind of like tiring just seeing, oh, you're coping. It's like, okay. Anyway, but like, I see now, if you really want to talk about coping, all right, you see people all the time, right, especially now, and you notice it with the Yankee fans and the Mets fans. It's almost like they wonder if he could possibly go to the Red Sox. So they start coming up with all this stuff. Oh, that contract, it's going to age terribly. It's going to be like Albert Pujols, with how he fell off when he went to the Angels. It's like, okay. All right. And it's like, it's so weird just seeing like all of a sudden like this negativity. Like, oh, he's so overrated. You got the guys over in New York, whatever radio station that is, Sal, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm going blank on the name. I don't mean to sound disrespectful. I'm just going blank on the name. I think he talks Mets, Yankees. I think those two guys are Mets, Yankees. And he's saying, oh, no, he's not a generational type of player. I mean, if you're looking at guys through their age 25 season in the history of the game with guys like Ted Williams, Barry Bonds, Pujols, right? Juan Soto is in the top 10 when it comes to wins above replacement all time among players through their age 25 season. That's a generational player. I don't know why people are coming out here, and I'm sure there's a lot of you in the chat that are just rolling your eyes at me right now. But sorry, that is I mean, if it's not generational, I mean, it's absolutely at least a half generation, right? I mean, this is a guy that you don't see come around very often, right? When Soto is the real deal, man. And he's only just going into his prime. Like, think about that. He was just 25 years old, just turned 26, just put up an 8 wins above replacement. I don't know what else to say at that. Like, I don't know. I mean, for the naysayers, I don't get it. Oh, he can't play defense. Okay, perfect. We got the Green Monster right behind you. That can help you a little bit. I think Juan Soto would be just fine in front of the Green Monster. Put him out there. I think that would be okay. Whatever. The bat is elite. It's one of the best all time at this point in his career. Yeah, I fully think you are going to get an amazing player at least through his age 32, 33 season. You start to see the players, kind of drop off at that point. But you're still seeing guys, like Freddie Freeman in his mid-30s who is still putting up good production, right? You're seeing some of these older players now. Go back to, someone even like Adrian Beltre. Adrian Beltre was putting up great numbers towards, as he even got closer to his age 40 season. The one difference with Juan Soto, where I don't think he's going to have this like Albert Pujols drop off, the guy has elite plate discipline that you just don't see. There's a reason people call him the modern day Ted Williams, right? And yeah, TD. I mean, of course. How am I forgetting Big Papi? I mean, obviously that's a great example too. Yeah, David Ortiz, man. I mean, look what he was doing. Look what he did in his retirement year. Crazy. I mean, Ortiz, honestly, if he was feeling good and, the body wasn't hurting him very much, I mean, he probably could have played another couple of years, had probably still great production. He was very good in his retirement year. I'm just saying, man, I think Soto, I don't know. I don't see the drop off anytime soon. I don't. I mean, you're at least going to get at least the next 6-7 years, at least. I mean, who knows? It's impossible to tell the future. But I think because of the elite plate discipline, I do think he's going to last a good while. Is there a chance he moves to DH? Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, you saw Barry Bonds, Barry Bonds is even going out there in the outfield, just somehow, some way getting it done, right? I don't know. Anyway, we're getting away from the point here. Who knows what's going to happen with these other teams? Are the Yankees going to get another meeting? Are the Mets going to get another meeting? We'll see. I don't know. But the fact that the Red Sox, again, it's one of those things where, and I know you got a lot of weird reports out there from random people named Mick. Who the heck is Mick? I don't know who the heck Mick is. Where they come out of the woodworks, they're like coming out of the abyss, like an alien just dropped them down from just God knows wherever. And you're just getting all these like weird reports. I feel like you're only hearing stuff about the Red Sox. Like there's nothing too much. You're starting to hear a little bit about the Yankees, Mets. And there's leverage all over the place. I don't really know fully how to read everything, but it's just very like weird that you're getting like, even something like this here. Listen, I'm not saying the Red Sox are going to get the deal done. I'm not. I don't think. I'm not going to sit here and say like, yeah, Henry's showing up, done deal. No, I'm not going to be, a complete Red Sox homer like that. I think with his history, his track record of when he shows up, for the most part, he tends to get a deal done. People will say the Billy Beane example. Well, Billy Beane didn't come to the Red Sox. Well, he did agree. He agreed to come to the Red Sox at first, but then he said, you know what? My family's out here. I've changed my mind, right? We'll see if John Henry can close the deal like he has in the past. Now, we're going to move on here. There's one little thing I want to touch on here. We had a little something from good old Jared Carrabis, right? Everyone knows Jared Carrabis. They got the Baseball is Dead podcast. There was one little interesting clip from this. I can't play it for some reason. The software that I use doesn't, I can't, I don't know why the audio doesn't play. Maybe I got to figure that out. But I can just give you a little bit of a breakdown. Jared, they're doing their show. I believe they were talking about the Luis Severino signing. If you haven't seen my video on that, go check that out on the main channel. But when it comes to this clip here, all of a sudden, Jared, he got a text, got something, and he kind of started smiling a little bit. Now, I will say, my guess, and we're just having fun with this. We're just having fun, everyone. And also, Jared, anytime he gets something in the scoop shop is what they like to call it. Jared, he is not one of those people that goes out there and tries to break news. If he knows something, he'll put the eyeballs on Twitter or whatever it may be. Jared got a text during this, and he even said to Jake, who's on the bottom corner there, he's like, "Hey, Jake, you see what's in the scoop shop?" And then Jake's like, "Huh, interesting." I forget what he said exactly, but Jared, he started asking, or he started saying he feels like something could happen in the next couple of days He wasn't being specific. He even said, I'm not talking about, something specific. And then he started asking Dallas Braden and Jay Hay started saying, hey, do you guys think anyone could sign before Juan Soto? And they were like, no, maybe, yes. I'm speculating. I'm guessing. We're having fun with it. We're having fun. My guess is perhaps he did say the Red Sox, right? He did say, I think he said specifically for us. He said for us. So that means the Red Sox. I wonder if he got word about something that was not Juan Soto, because I don't think he would ask the question, do you think anyone's going to sign before Soto? So it makes me think possibly maybe the Red Sox are deep in talks with another player that could possibly be a bat, that could possibly be a pitcher. I don't know. It's interesting. All right. Jared is, he keeps things very close to the vest. And again, he's not in the breaking news business. He's got some connections out there, right? He does have some people that he talks to. I don't know who specifically, but I would imagine with all the success he's had, right? How often he goes to Fenway, he's got a couple of people out there, right? Maybe agents, who knows, right? But, and I even hate that I'm going to do this. I don't even want to do what I'm about to do. I really don't. I do not want to do what I'm about to do. We're having fun, okay? We're having fun. I'm not saying this is a credible source. Don't even come at me, okay? I'm having fun with this one. Who the heck is Mick? Mick put out there. Isn't it amazing how much Mick is doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down? He has doubled down probably like 20 times at this point. This guy put out today that the Red Sox are looking to be adding another bat. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, what is going on with this? Like, what are we doing? I don't know. Are you looking for the podcast viewers, or are you legit? I don't know what to think. I don't know the answer. I know a lot of people like to come at him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, right? I just thought it was interesting that he put that out. If anything, again, I don't find it credible. I'm just pointing that out. Just having fun. And then Jared says that. I don't know, man. Could there be something brewing? I don't know, right? Let's say it's a bat. Let's say there's a bat. Let's say. Ben, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm letting that be known. I am very weary of that whole thing. Who the heck is Mick, right? That's how I like to call it. I'm very weary. Don't come at me. I'm not saying I believe any of it. Just find it kind of fun to sort of try and connect dots because my brain is a potato and I like to have fun. If the Red Sox were looking to add a bat, I don't know. I mean, Adames is a guy I know from people that I've talked to that are close to the Red Sox. I know they love Willy Adames. I know that, and I'm not surprised. It's not surprising to hear something like that. Alex Cora is a guy that loves versatility. He loves these guys that can move around. Willy Adames is completely open to moving around. He can play. We know he can play short. All right. Had a bit of a down year at shortstop this year, but we know he can play there. He can get the job done. He can play third. He's willing to play third at least. He can play second, right? He can move, right? Willy Adames is a guy that I can see Cora really liking, and I think that could end up being a really good signing. And I've talked about this before, where if you put him at third, Rafi can DH. I know people do not like the idea of putting him at first, but I'll say this. I'm not saying I like the idea, but I would not be surprised if the Red Sox were at least thinking about that. You might not like it. I'm not saying I like it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Red Sox could care less what everyone thinks and they feel like that's the best move. We can sit here all day and we can say how we feel about things on Twitter and whatever. No way Rafi should play first base. I'll be honest with you. I'll probably take a guess that the Red Sox probably don't care what we think. You know, that's just what I think. I don't know. That's just me. But listen, if Rafi can move to DH, I would prefer that. Or first, Willy Adames can play third. But also, it's good to have him. It would be good to have him in case Trevor Story goes down again. That would be great insurance for shortstop Or second base, if they're not getting any good production at second base, that's a guy that can move over there, right? Rafi can move back to third, whatever. It gives them flexibility. I would love to add someone like Willy Adames. I know he's had the issues against left-handed pitching. I know that's a thing. He has the, bit of strikeouts, whatever. The guy's got some pop. He's a valuable player. I would love to add someone like him. We'll see. We will see here. Could it be someone like Fried? Could it be Burns? I don't know. I don't know. We've been hearing some weird stuff about Garrett Crochet. I saw something out there today about the Cubs and maybe like the the Mariners and the Cubs possibly getting together on like a 3-way trade. I don't know who reported that. Someone put something out there today. I'd have to go back and look at it again. It could make sense, right? Because I did line up a possible 3-way trade into the good old simulator that everyone hates. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you could definitely do something like this where Garrett Crochet goes to the Cubs. You could have Nico Horner go to the Mariners. You could have a group of prospects from each team going back to the White Sox. I could see something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. I could see the Red Sox wanting to add someone like Crochet. If they can't get Crochet, maybe they turn to Fried. I will say this, when it comes to, the whole Juan Soto thing, I have touched on this a little bit. One thing you got to remember here, and I have said this, I'm kind of beating a dead horse at this point. It's not Soto Corporation. It's Boras Corporation. He has other clients that he has to worry about, right? Guys like Alex Bregman, I guess, has an offer on the table from the Astros. Yes, I know Juan Soto is the star. He is the guy. At the end of the day, though, someone like Alex Bregman, yeah, I mean, he's thinking, hey, I want to sign somewhere too. I mean, hey, Juan Soto's great, but what about me? You got to think about that factor, right? I know people say, oh, dominoes, whatever. But these guys want to go, they got their own lives they got to worry about. Got to remember here, these are human beings, right? They're not just ball players. They are human beings, and they want to figure out what's going on. Guys like Fried, he's not with Boras. I believe he's with CAA, I think. Is he with CAA or Excel? I can't remember with Fried. But, guys out there, they want to get stuff figured out. It was just interesting to kind of see that. And again, I know the whole Mick thing, but I thought it was kind of funny to connect dots in my head thinking, man, does this guy actually got something? I don't know. We'll see. He's doubling down, everyone. Mr. Mick, he is not letting up. When this whole thing is over, I am really excited to see what ends up happening with that whole thing, whether the Red Sox land Soto or he goes elsewhere. I'm very intrigued about that chapter. What will the fallout be of Mick? I think that's pretty fun to think about. I don't know. But we'll see, everyone. We will see. I'm going to get out of here, everyone. I'm going to wrap it up there. Great stream tonight. Wow, we had almost 400 people. That is a record here on the show. We beat our like goal for tonight. We had 100 likes. Everyone, we are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. We got a few subs here tonight. Thank you for that. If you can help us get to 2,000, I will love you forever, man. We are growing here at Fenway Faithful. It's been a great time here so far, talking everything. But yes, Dilcor, yes, I would love to do a stream with Red Seat Radio. I'm sure we'll hook up at some point. I would love to talk with the guys from Section 10. If you guys out there can start tagging Section 10 saying, hey, you and Robbie, you got to talk. I would love to talk with those guys, man. I would love that. I think we could have great conversation. I would love to have Tyler on the show. Jared, I would love to have on the show. Whatever, Steve, all of them. I would love to have those guys. So, hey, pester those guys. I would love to talk ball with all of them. I know it's a busy time, though, so I don't know. Maybe they don't want to right now. Anyway, but yeah, Red Seat Radio, would love to have him on, too. So, everyone, I'm going to wrap this up here. If you can on the way out, hit that like button for me. And if you are new, think about subscribing. We're talking Red Sox here all the time. For everyone on my main channel, for right now, I'm probably going to hold off on the main channel for tonight. I'll probably have something for the morning. I'll go over some news that kind of came out today, the news and the rumors. We will take a look at that for tomorrow probably. But if anything does break, I will go live on the main channel. But yeah, everyone, I'm out of here. Thank you so much. And go have a good rest of your night. And I'll talk to you next time.